Today's practice is a deliberate practice, a movement practice for the upper body to create more mobility and power in our shoulders. And we're going to work with some basic body weight exercises. You don't really need any equipment. I have a block and a strap, but you can use anything that's lying around your house. So like a belt, or even just using the floor for feedback when we use the strap. And then for the block, a book if you don't have a block, or anything that you can just hold in your hand. So today's practice, we're going to be looking at generating more power and mobility through our upper body, and it's a body weight practice. And what I've noticed is that for those of you who practice body weight exercises, whether it's calisthenics or yoga, or even going to the gym and using your body weight plus extra weights, is that there's a tendency to jump into these final positions without really understanding where your body's at and where the power and where the action is coming from. So today we're going to be really deliberate about breaking that down, waking up all the structures in our upper body, starting from the core as we've been working with the series. And if you haven't already done the core and spine practice, we'll review a little bit of that today, but you can also go back and watch the earlier video recording on the core and spine, because everything basically starts from there. Strong core is how we move. A strong connection to an awake spine is how we move with more efficiency, more economy, and more ease. So today's work, we're going to be approaching these body weight exercises from the idea of finding our edge, which is going to be dynamic for each one of us, but also at the same time respecting what we can do today. And that's a really important concept in practice that we come back to again and again and again. And as my buddy Jeff Warren says, it's all about care. So whether we're moving towards some personal edge, like you have a goal towards a handstand practice, or getting stronger in your upper body, or whatever it is, or just being able to hold up and support your own weight, that would be seen as kind of an ideal. Okay, and today we're going to explore this really awesome nuanced place of the ideal versus the real. Okay, and we're going to get feedback again from our core, from that home base, as to where the real is, and we'll work within the real as we move towards the edge of the ideal. And this is a really alive practice, and I'm really happy that you're here joining me. Okay, so let's get started. Lying on our backs, and first thing that we'll do just to get real is just to start by stopping and get into our bodies. Take a few deliberate breaths here as you rest on the floor. Having set aside this time now to take care of ourselves, the self-care practice. I'm going to be here in this deliberate way for just a short while, just a couple of moments, but feeling yourself relaxing. Notice the parts of your body that are in contact with the floor, and just doing this little check-in, feeling the weight of your head on the floor, your shoulders, your shoulder blades, your arms, the backs of your hands, and just making note of any differences you feel right side, left side, in terms of the connection, in terms of weight, in terms of sensation. Noticing the feeling in your rib cage, in your rib basket, as it makes contact with the floor, your spinal curves, the sine wave of your spine, the curve of your neck, the upper back, behind your chest, your lower back, and your pelvis. Noticing the two halves of your pelvis, right side, left side. How does the weight
fall into the floor. And then feeling that translating down into the legs. So the long bones, the femur bones, right side, left side, the shin bones, the calves, the heels, the feet. And then just notice yourself, notice your physical body, your structure as a whole. Proprioception, feeling yourself in the space right now, here and now. Taking an in-breath, coming into your body. And exhale all of your air out, starting now to breathe three-dimensionally, this more dynamic way that we've been using to access our core. So the exhale is complete. We're trying to find the bottom of the exhale, so you're a bit more deliberate about the exhale. Noticing how the pelvic floor muscles contract, the lower belly contracts as you work on the exhale. It's a great way to strengthen your breath and strengthen your core, is to focus on your exhale. And then out of the bottom of the exhale, try to breathe three-dimensionally, so expanding your belly, your chest in the front, your ribs in the side, your back into the floor. And we'll do that a few times, just getting primed now. Three-dimensional inhalations. If it doesn't feel natural to work in that sequence, belly, chest, sides, and back, just simply think about inflating a balloon on all sides. So it's not just going into one side of the rib cage. Okay, one more three-dimensional breath. Exhale all of your air. Now start to gather towards the midline. We're going to inhale and reach the arms up as we expand the rib cage, push down through the feet, and then we'll exhale as we bend the right knee beside the left knee, or the right foot comes beside the left knee. And we're going to slide the hand underneath the lower back as we lift up on our exhale into the first of the big three. So priming our cores here for deeper connection. We're pressing now the front of the body into the back, keeping the neutral curve in the lower back with the shape in the legs. So the left leg is straight, the right leg is bent. Breaths will be shorter, but still three-dimensional if you can. If it bothers your neck, remember you can take one hand behind your head just to support your neck. And then exhale and inhale, we're going to stretch. And exhale, we'll bend the left knee, placing the left foot beside the right knee, and lift up into our first of the big three, this modified abdominal crunch. Okay, lower back, it stays off the floor, upper back coming off the floor, pelvis on the ground. Use your feet to anchor you as you create intra-abdominal pressure here. Okay, a modified version of this would be to keep your head on the floor and try to scoop your pelvis off the ground, keeping your knees on top of your hips. So lots of different ways to work with this, but the idea is that you're creating this kind of bearing down sensation into your belly. Okay, and then inhale and exhale, come down. Inhale, stretch your arms and legs. And exhale again, switch sides. Right knee bends. We're going to lift the head, lift the upper back, lift the shoulders, creating this internal hug as you come back to your center. Feel this kind of coming into your center, coming home to center. And exhale, release. Inhale, stretch the arms, stretch the feet. Exhale, left knee bends and lift the head. Last side. Okay, so working these big three from Stuart McGill, it will make every kind of movement that you like to do better because you're moving from your center, proximal to distal. So upper back lifts, lower back stays off the floor, but we're sandwiching the front and back of the body together. And exhale down, inhale, stretch the arms and legs. And exhale, we're going to roll onto our right side. Right elbow comes underneath the knee. We have our knees in line with our hips and shoulders and head. And then the second of this big three, we're doing side plank. So we're inhaling, lifting up. exhale coming down. So with the breath, inhale up, exhale down. If it bothers your shoulders, you can scale this by doing a side crunching banana motion. Otherwise, keep going with your breath, inhaling up, exhaling down. On the last one now, one more time, lift up. We're going to stay up and bend the left elbow, pushing the hand into the head into the hand, and you're creating this feedback where your ribs are coming in, your glutes are turned on, and you're sandwiching the right side and the left side together for side plank. And let's exhale and come down. And we're going to switch over to the other side. So you're on your left elbow now, right knee, or the knees rather, and the hips, the ribs, shoulders, and head in the same line. Let's inhale, lift up, and we'll exhale and come down. Inhale up, exhale down, tap the hip. Inhale up, exhale down, working three-dimensionally with your breathing. Inhale, expand. Exhale, squeeze the air out. Inhale up. We're going to stay up. Take the hand behind the head. Gentle pressure back into the hand. Head pushes back. Head or hand pushes forward. Ribs in. Stack your hips. Three-dimensional breaths. You'll feel some shortness in the breath. That's okay. Try to really push against that hugging sensation. Exhale and release. Let's go back to the right side. And you can scale it up if you want by straightening the legs, even straightening the arm if you want, or scale it down, like I mentioned, by creating this little side crunch. So either way, whether you're going up or down, this is, again, this real versus the ideal. Just challenge yourself, find your edge. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, exhale, in, out. With your breath, in and out. One more time. Inhale up, exhale, hand behind the head. Press back for feedback, ribs coming in, hips stacking. Strong breaths here, three-dimensional into your back, into your sides, into your front. And let's exhale and come down. Switching over to the left side. You can stay with the same bent elbow or knee, or you can scale it up or down as you need. Inhale, come up, side plank. Exhale, down. Inhale up, exhale, down. Inhale up, exhale, down. Two more. In, out. Inhale up, stay up. Hand comes behind the head. Press back so you have this nice straight core line that you're centered in. It's like you're sandwiched between two pieces of paper in 2 dimensions here. We're expanding 3-dimensionally with the breath. And we'll exhale and release. Let's come into our last of the big 4. Starting on all fours, you can pad up your knees with a blanket or double pad your mat if you need to. Let's go ahead and inhale and extend the right leg and left arm. Exhale and hug the knee and elbow towards center. Inhale and reach. Exhale, round. In and out. Inhale and exhale. Moving our bodies as one. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hug. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hug. 3 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hug. Inhaling, reach. Exhaling, hug. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hug. And then inhale to reset. And exhale back to the beginning. Left leg extends. Right arm forward. Inhale. And exhale. Hug the midline. Use the squeeze the exhalation. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Go at your pace. If you need a break, that's always there for you. So this movement practice is about caring for your body. 6. Let's do 4 more. 7.
8, 9, squeeze with the exhale, expand with the inhale last time, exhale, squeeze, and inhale, reach, and then exhale and release. Let's walk our hands back, and we're going to come all the way up to standing. So in the core practice, we talked about the 6 movements for awakening the spine. So I want to review those really quickly, and that will help us understand how our upper body moves in relation to a strong core. So the first one, we're just going to round the spine and go into a forward fold. Okay, so it could be that you stop here, or if you want, you can keep going with the knees bent and use gravity to round the spine a little bit more. Now we do the opposite. We're going to roll up and expand the front of your spine. Once you get past the vertical line, your hips come forward, and we're going to arch back. Good, and we repeat that. So drop the chin. You're like a fiddlehead, furling in, rolling in, vertebrae by vertebrae. Lengthen the back of your spine, and then feel as you roll up that you're lengthening the front of your spine, each vertebrae getting longer, and arch back, hips coming forward, and then reset. So you can keep going with that a couple more times, or you can work with your spinal waves. Okay, so the spinal wave is just an articulation, so a little more intelligence with the core, an articulation of each vertebrae one at a time. So to do that, we move the hips back, we stick the chin forward, and then I can imagine that I have like an imaginary wall in front of me that my chin is on, and then my chest comes to that wall, my ribs, my belly, my hips, and then once I get my hips forward enough, I just take them back and I reset. So chin, chest, ribs, belly, hips. I'm focusing first on the front of the body, chin, chest, ribs, belly, hips. Okay, and then once you get it, first it's a bit mechanical, you can make it a bit more fluid and really bring your mind into your spine, connecting through a wave. It's like you're threading your consciousness through your spinal column. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing from the back. So we want to round the back, the upper back, then round the middle back, round the lower back, and then reset. So you can round the upper, the lower, or the middle, the lower, and the hips. And then once you get that, you can combine the front focus with the back focus. So you go chin, chest, ribs, pelvis, upper back, middle back, lower back, pelvis. Chin, chest, ribs, belly. Now upper back, middle back, lower back, pelvis. And reverse, chin, chest, ribs, belly. Bringing the intelligence through the spine. Segmenting, articulating. We want to try to wake up and create independence with each one of the spinal vertebrae. This will help a lot with every kind of movement that we do. And when we have a kind of sleepy or dead spinal segment, it can affect everything on the outside, even all the way down into our ankles and our wrists. Last couple times here, spinal waving. Very good. Nice job. I know that can be challenging at first. So now we're going to reach up and over with the left arm so we can stretch the left side. You can take your left foot behind you, and now we're doing banana. So we're lengthening the side body. Okay, staying on the side, you can walk your back foot in front. So you get a slightly different part, maybe in back more into your QL in the back. And then you can walk your left foot behind. It's like you're trying to maybe reach down a little bit more. One more time, walking forward. Maybe hand goes behind the head if you want the The arm is just kind of window dressing here. It's not really about the arm, it's about the spinal movement. And back. Good. And then inhale, come up, and we'll do the other side. So side bending to the left. So you're lengthening your right side, shortening the left side. If you want, you can try stepping the back foot in front. So you create a slightly different sensation, because remember, we're trying to get also not just the middle of the side, but the front and the back of the side body. And behind you. And in front. And for the last time, we'll go behind. And then release, inhale. Good, let's swing the arms. So the last two movements of the spine we're doing is rotation, spinal rotation. You can feel free to pivot your feet on your toes if that feels natural, or you can pivot on your heel, whichever feels more natural. You can also keep your feet planted, and that way you'll feel a little bit more rotation maybe through your lower spinal segments. Okay. Last couple of times, look directly over your shoulders. So try to create 360 degrees when you combine both sides. And maybe there's even some overlap. Right side, left side, look directly over your shoulder. Good, last couple times. Very good. Okay, come back to center. All right, so now that we understand the 6 movements, forward, back, side, and rotation, we're going to live in the middle of the spine. So we're going to try to avoid for this particular next piece, rounding or arching the back, which is the tendency, because I want us to try to isolate our shoulder blades. The shoulder blades are like the pelvis of the upper body, the powerhouse of the upper body. So we can't see the shoulder blade, but we have to create more freedom in the shoulder blade in order to get more power in the arm, because the power of the arm comes from the shoulder blade. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'll just show you from behind so you can see, is we're going to take the arms up at shoulder height, and I want you to try and see if you can bring your shoulder blades together and then your shoulder blades apart. But the trick is that as your shoulder blades come together, try not to thrust your ribs forward. Okay, so that's usually what happens. Those two movements are coupled. And when your shoulder blades come forward and apart, try not to round your spine. Okay, so because sometimes we can get the feeling like we're moving our shoulder blades together and apart just by arching and rounding the spine, because they are connected, but we want to try to separate those two movements. So your elbows stay straight. We're going to bring our hands towards our face without bending the elbows, but instead bringing the shoulder blades together, and then the shoulder blades apart, and together and apart. And keep going, a couple more of these. So you're retracting them together and you're pressing them apart. Together and apart. Together and apart. And then just swing the arms. Take a little break. Swing the arms. Just let go of any tension. Your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists. Then the arms come back up shoulder height. We're going to do the same idea, but now up and down. Up and down. And try to really isolate. You can't see your shoulder blades, but you can feel them going up your back and then coming down your back. And up your back and down your back. And try to keep your ribs and your core nice and stable. So you're getting a little bit, it would be helpful to think about bracing your core in this neutral position as you go up and down. The other thing that likes to get involved is your head. Okay, so try to keep your head directly centered over your feet and just lift and drop your shoulder blades. Good, and then swing again. Okay, the last one, the fifth and sixth movement of the shoulder blade is going to be rotation. So we're going to combine in, out, up, and down for rotation. I'll show you from behind. So the arms come out in front of your shoulders. We're going to bring the shoulder blades together, keeping the ribs in, and then drop the shoulder blades down. Take the shoulder blades out, and then lift them up. That's one circle. So in, together, down, out, and up. In, down, out, and up. And then we can reverse. So we go in, up, out, and down. Together, up, out, apart, and down. Together, up, out, and down. Try that again in both directions. Okay, together, apart, up, and down, both directions. And for those of you who have pretty good control, moving them in the same way, you can try one side going forward and the other side going the other way. This is a little more complexity, but you're creating, again, this next level of scapular control. Very good. And then just swing your arms. Take a little break. Swing, swing, swing. Beautiful. Okay, now take your arms out to the sides, and we're going to work a little bit with our arm movements. Okay, so our arms can start out to the side. We're going to take one palm facing up and one palm facing down. And then we're going to switch that. So one palm up, one palm down. And you can really screw the internal rotation and the external rotation and working rotation in your shoulder joints. So isolating the shoulder joints here. Very good. Inwards and outwards. And then again, just swing. Okay, good. All right, so now we're going to combine an overhead movement and a behind movement with a rotational movement. So really what we're getting is all 6 movements: out, together, up, down, rotation in, rotation out. So we're combining, just like we did with our hips, the 6 movements of the shoulder. Okay, so we're going to start here with the arms out to the sides. I'm going to take my right hand palm up and my left hand palm down. The left hand, which is palm down, when I internally rotate the arm, it's going to be easier to go behind me. So I'm going to reach that hand behind me, and I can deepen that either just by holding it here behind me, or I could try to reach that hand up between my shoulder blades. The side that's externally rotated, that's going to make it easier to go above me, and that one I'm also reaching towards the shoulder blades. And then I'm switching by taking the arms back out, and then I switch. So my right hand is turned down, my left hand is turned up. The right hand is going to reach behind, and the left hand is going to turn up. And then I'm going to, again, switch, and I go through this really deliberate, beautiful shoulder mobility exercise where I'm S-ing the arms. I'm switching through the full 6 movements of the arm. As I come into the midline, I want to hug my elbows into the center line. Let's do 2 more on each side. Good. Don't force here, but do create this motion. So as we like to say, motion is lotion. Okay, so we get that nice lubrication in the shoulder joints and the shoulder blades. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do, a little bit more playful, is taking either our block, or you can use a book or anything in your open hand. I'm going to start with my right hand, and I'm going to combine again all 6 movements in the shoulder, but just for a little bit more play. Okay, so I'm going out, that's external rotation. I'm coming in. I'm going up, and I'm going behind. Okay, so at first you can kind of grip the block from the sides, but once you get confident that you're not going to drop the block on your toes, okay, so there's a little incentive, you can have a kind of open palm. Okay, so now I can connect those movements. So I'm going to go external rotation, up, And then to connect to the internal rotation, I'm internally rotating to come down and around through the front. Okay, so I can do the same in reverse. I go internal rotation, and to connect that, I go external rotation to come down to the front. Okay, so you can try this. Sometimes they call this teacups, and it's okay. You might notice how, like, if you're a little limited in your shoulder, you can add a little movement through your spine here, a little more playful, a little more compliant movement here. Okay, changing it, changing directions, going around. The shoulder joint's potentially one of the most mobile joints in the body. It's designed for movement in all directions. We want to get the shoulder blade involved. Good, let's switch to the other side, to the left side. So first, just nice and simple, in and out. Then you can go up and you can go back. And just feel, start to get to know, to understand the mechanics of your shoulder. So I can go and connect these movements. I can go external rotation, which takes me up. And then if I want to connect it to the back, I have to internally rotate it to bring it around and through. And then the same is true in reverse. So I can go inward rotation to go back, but in order to get from here, I get stuck. I have to externally rotate to come around. So inward rotation turning into external rotation. First, it's a bit of a mind puzzle, figuring it out. But work with your body. Just notice, okay, there's the limit. Now, how do I get around like a river flowing around river rocks? I want to get some freedom in the shoulder joint. Nice and fluid. And you'll notice here, one of the reasons why I love this exercise, you really notice how there's really not one surface in the body that is square. Everything is rounded. So we're working around this rounded spherical ball we call the glenohumeral joint, or the shoulder joint. Okay, really good. Then we'll put that off to the side. So the theme here is about generating power. So now we have a bit more mobility in our shoulders, a little bit more flexibility. We're going to generate power. So if we look at what gymnasts do, they do entire workouts on their hands. So we're going to borrow some work today from gymnasts to understand this position to create upper body power is called lockout. So whenever we're bearing weight on our hands, we want to lock out in our shoulders. So what does lockout mean? It's the combination of this protraction, shoulder blades apart, with an external rotation in my shoulders. Now this is going to engage a really important muscle called the serratus anterior, which actually spreads the shoulder blades and connects it to the core. Okay, so the quickest way to get to your serratus anterior is to imitate Bruce Lee. There's the serratus. Okay, it's just this kind of motion, a strong motion. Okay, that's the quickest way. If we want to get a little bit more detailed into it, so you can always just remember, okay, that motion. Okay, it's this, you should feel like when you're working it, you have almost like a little crampy sensation underneath your armpits. So the way to access it more technically is we place one hand inside the elbow. We're going to do two things. We're going to push the elbow forward and at the same time squeeze the elbow in and take the hand out. Okay, so that's external rotation with spreading the shoulder blades. And you should find that it does two things. At first, you might just get a little whisper here in your serratus anterior, but you also might find that it helps you to relax your traps. So if you're tend to hold your tension up in your shoulders, this is really key because your serratus opposes your traps, your upper traps. So if you are not able to release your traps, try activating your serratus, because that will help undoing. It's like turns off the switch in your traps. But try it on the other side. So we're squeezing the hand and the elbow together. We're taking the hand out and we're spreading the shoulder blades, ribs coming in, and you might start to feel even just a little sensation down underneath the sides of the ribs on the outside of the shoulder blade. When you get used to this, you'll really be able to recruit these muscles to create more power in your pushing. So, anything that generates power has to come from this connection to the core. And we have these cross fibers. So, whether you're throwing a ball, throwing a punch, pushing, doing a push-up, doing a handstand, any kind of pushing motion has to come from the shoulder blade. Okay, so the arm, the flexibility of the arm is just to make the arm move in the direction of the power of the thrust of the shoulder blade. Okay, so let's come now to our all fours position, and we're going to work on some wrist mobility here. Okay, so starting here with your hands underneath your shoulders. Okay, if that bothers your wrist, you can always take your hands forward of your shoulders. So you take the angle off your wrists. Okay, so really important to modify as you need. We're just going to make little circles around the wrist, just starting to bear weight in our hands. Circles one way, circles the other way, and then you can adjust the fingers out. Circles one way, circles the other way. Being mindful here as we distribute weight into our hands. And then the fingers in, circles one way, and circles the other way. Good, and then we're going to have the fingers pointing forward, and we'll take the right hand and we'll turn the fingers back. So we're going to work now the connective tissue in the hands to get a little bit more space in the hands. So now start to peel your palm up, but you don't have to take your finger knuckles to the ground, so that might come up. So you have the finger prints on the mat, and you're going to lift your thumb as you bend your elbow out to the side. Okay, so right elbow is bent. Then I'm going to take my thumb in and out, and I get this sensation like I'm yawning with my palm. And maybe doing little circles with the thumbs, big circles one way, and big circles the other way. We're stretching the connective tissue in the webbing of the hand, the carpal arch. And then you can shake that out, and we'll use the right hand for base as we take the left hand back, peel the hand up so the palm is coming more or less towards vertical. Finger knuckles, notice, don't have to be down. So I'm just getting this kind of even elongation. Okay, and then my thumb goes out and in, and I'm using my opposable thumbs to open the power in my hands and my wrists. So thumb is kind of like the ringleader of the hand, now making circles. So we want a nice strong connection through our thumbs, okay, which is a really key part to bear weight in our hands. One way and then the other way, and then let's shake that out. Good, so now we're going to do the same movement but with a little more strength. So now elbows are going to lock into straight. We're going to spread the shoulder blades and externally rotate the arms. So it's like you're trying to break an imaginary bar with your hands to get that Bruce Lee action. And then thumbs come up, lift your palms, drop your palms, take your thumbs down. So if that's really hard, take your hands further forward. If it's easy, take your shoulders further forward. Thumbs up, palms down, thumbs down. Elbows stay straight. So you're working here to create more control in your wrists. Thumbs, palms, thumbs. Of course, you could deepen this work, make it a little more challenging by straightening your legs, because you're just adding more weight. Okay, so work at your edge, thumbs, palms. This is body weight training for your wrists and really prepping your wrists for more deeper, more complex work to come. And one more time, thumbs, Palms, palms, thumbs. Good. Just shake that out. And then we're going to work from the underside to the top side of the forearm. So same thing, we'll take our hands forward. I want you to lean back. So I'll just show you from the side. I want you to lean back so your weight is off your hands. So then it should make it easier to start to tap your thumbs into the floor. Your elbows are straight. You're going to maintain the tapping and come forward. Notice when your elbows want to bend, keep the tapping in your thumbs. Tap, 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 tap. Keep your inner palm down and then go back. And the index finger. Tap, 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 tap. Come forward. Keep the tapping so you're really waking up the intelligence in your hands. Tap your index finger forward, forward, forward. Your elbows are straight. Straighten your arms and then back. Go back. Tap your middle finger. Keep the tapping. Keep your elbows straight. Notice how the body will want to bend the elbows. So straighten your arms. Lock out. Screw your shoulders into your back. Spread your shoulder blades. Tap your middle finger. Tap, tap, tap. And go back. And ring finger. Tap, tap. Starts to get a little fuzzy now. The connection. Elbows straight. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. And back. Now the little finger. Tap. Elbows straight. Tap your little fingers. Tap. Elbows stay straight. Palms flat on the ground. Tap, 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 tap. And release. Good job, everybody. Shake the arms out. Good, a little shake in your wrists. All right, beautiful. So now we're going to connect this nice strong base in the wrists to the shoulder mobility and the power of the shoulder blade into the core. Okay, so I want you to have your strap. If you don't have a strap, it's okay. You can use either just the feedback of the floor, or you can use an extra, like a regular belt, okay? So we're bringing the strap right around the part of your body, so right behind your lower floating ribs, okay? For women, it would be like below the bra strap around T9, 10 area, thoracic vertebrae 9 or 10. So I'm gonna come back with the strap there, okay? So now what I wanna be able to do here is I want to be able to take my arm up, okay? I'm going to do it with the legs straight, but you can feel free. It might be a little easier at first with the knees bent. So I'm going to take one hand on the free end of the strap, and I'm going to take the other arm up over my head. And I want to notice when my arm goes up, does my rib cage lift up and thereby make the strap easy to move on my back. Okay, so I'm just getting that feedback, okay, to that position. So it might be that as I press down into my front ribs and I glue the strap into the floor, that as my arm goes up, I just get to about here before I'm able to lose the connection. Okay, so that's again the ideal. The idea of the ideal would be to go all the way back to touch the floor, but the real here is you're going to be somewhere, you know, from here, from directly over the shoulder to up over the head. So work with that now. You can notice the differences between your right side and your left side. Just give a little tug on the strap so you're getting feedback. Okay, so this is kind of a habitual connection that many of us have lost. So we're trying to regain the connection between our core, the ribs coming in, and the upper body movement. So I want to think of like real shoulder mobility and power starts in my core. Okay, so for me it's about here. Once I get past my ear, I could go further, but my ribs lose contact. Okay, so really find your ideal, your real, as it were. Okay, and do that on one side, do it on the other side. Just remember where your comfortable range of motion is, okay? And that's where we're going to work from. Okay, so now you can just use your hands. Okay, I'm going to use blocks because I like that little bit of feedback. Okay, if you don't have blocks, no problem. You can use books. Okay, I'm going to come back to this position here with the blocks balancing, or books, or just using the air on my hands like this. Okay.
So I'm going to inhale, my arms directly over my shoulders, and I want to get that lockout position. So I'm going to screw my arms, I'm going to torque my arms, okay, into the external rotation. I'm going to spread my shoulders. And then I'm going to exhale, keeping my ribs connected to the strap below. I go up as high as I can over my head. And then I inhale back over the shoulders. And I'm going to exhale the elbows to the sides. Okay, there can be a little bit of distance between the elbows and the ribs, but I'm just bending the elbows down. So inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale overhead. Inhale, arms over the shoulders. Exhale, bend the elbows to the floor. Okay, try to keep your shoulder connection. Inhale, straighten the arms, shoulder blades apart. Exhale, bring the arms over the head, keep the shoulder blades apart, keep screwing the shoulders in for that lockout position. Inhale up, and exhale, keep the shoulders broad on the back as you bend the elbows to the floor. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, overhead. Inhale, straighten over the shoulders. Exhale, bend the elbows. Okay. Really feel the action of your shoulder blades pushing out through your hands. So your hands are just kind of expressions of your shoulder blades. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last time. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Okay, very good. Now roll to your side. And now we're going to take that exact same movement and we're going to load it with our body weight. Okay, so here's where we have to introduce this idea, which we've been doing actually throughout this practice, of progressive loading. Okay, so I'm going to add, so here is just kind of air push-ups. Okay, I'm going to add some weight to that, but I'm going to notice, when does my core start to collapse? When do I lose the connection between my ribs and my shoulder blades and my arms? Okay, so that might mean, I'll give you some options here. It might mean for some of you, you're coming to all fours, but you're doing it with the knees bent. Okay, so it would look like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, for those of you who are doing with straight legs, you just want to make sure that you're not collapsing between your shoulder blades and then coming down just with a kind of collapsed core. So in that case, I have this chair here, but you could use the edge of a counter or the edge of your bed or the edge of a banister. Just make sure that it's sturdy, okay? So again, here's a way that we could work this, okay? So I'm inhaling here, I'm exhaling to bend, keeping a nice straight line between my head and my heels. I inhale to straighten the elbows, and then I exhale back with the arms over the head, okay? I could also do it from the higher surface of the chair. You get the idea here. So I'm here, up on my tiptoes, I'm exhaling, I'm inhaling, and then I'm exhaling back into L shape, okay? So lots of different ways to approach this. I want you to find your appropriate height. So it's like going into the gym and picking the amount of weight that you're going to lift with integrity. Okay, so, and we're going to do 10 of these. Okay, so get your position. So you can even do it on the couch. Okay, and I'll call them out with the breathing. All right, so let's go together. We're going to start in the plank position. The shoulder blades spread apart. And again, you could be on your knees, on the chair, on a banister, whatever works for you. Inhale in plank. Exhale, bend the elbows like a push-up. Inhale back to plank. Exhale to downward dog or L shape. Inhale to plank, shoulders in line with the wrists.
Exhale, spread the shoulder blades, come down with control. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale to L shape or downward dog. Again, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Take breaks as you need. Work within the real for you. So if you're new to this, try it once or twice. Take a break. You can watch. Okay, really good way to learn is to use your mirror neurons. Spread the shoulder blades, screw the shoulders in. Exhale, bend. Inhale up. Exhale back. That's 5. 5 more. In, out, in, out. 6. In, out, in, out. 7. In, exhale, inhale, exhale. As you get tired, use your core even more. Ribs in, shoulder blades apart. Exhale, inhale, exhale. 8. 2 more. In, out, in, out. 1 more. In, out, in, out. Exhale. Good, and release. Nice job, everybody. So now we're going to find the power of the pulling muscles. So all the work that we did to push, we're going to do that in reverse. Okay, so I'm going to show you first how to access the muscles that pull. And these are the muscles, the large muscles, the lats, and the muscles between your shoulder blades, the rhomboids that pull you into position. Okay, so I'll just show you here kneeling just because of space constraints. So I'm going to inhale my arms up into a Y shape. As I exhale, I'm going to bring my shoulder blades together and squeeze the elbows down into cactus. Okay, so I inhale the arms up and I actually want to lift the shoulder blades out in the direction of the fingers, so out and up. And then I exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and I pull the elbows down to cactus. Okay, so let's do that 3 more times. Just kind of working with the air here. So I'm inhaling up, I exhale, pull the shoulder blades down, and squeeze like I'm doing a chin up, a pull up. I inhale up into the Y arms, I exhale, squeeze down, and I pull the elbows down. 1 more time. Inhale up, exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and pull the elbows down. Okay, really good. Now we're going to take that onto our stomachs. And for this, it would be really helpful to have a slippery surface because you want to be able to move on the floor. So I'm just going to push my mat underneath the couch here so that you can see what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to start the same way. So I'm reaching my arms forward in the Y shape. I'm going to exhale and pull my shoulder blades down the back. And then I want to keep going and squeeze my shoulder blades towards my ribs. And then I inhale. The head can come to the floor. And I'm reaching my arms forward. As I exhale, I pull first with my shoulder blades together and down. And then I want to pull the elbows into a kind of prone cactus. 1 more time. Inhale forward. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades and pull the elbows down into cactus. Okay, so now I'm going to start to load this a little bit. Okay, so what this could look like is you could do it in several stages. Okay, but we're going to end up in a back arch. Okay, so it'll look like this. So I'm going to start back here. I'm reaching my arms. And then I'm going to start exhaling, squeezing my shoulder blades together. And I'm going to pull. I'm going to keep my hands where they are. And I pull my body forward, maybe to sphinx. Okay, and that might mean that you use your legs a little bit to push, to take some of the load off. Okay, and then I exhale again and I squeeze my shoulder blades together and I pull a little bit more, maybe for cobra. And for some of you, you can exhale a little bit more and pull, pull, pull into your upward facing dog, using your back body to open your front body. And then we're going to inhale and push back onto our bellies again. So let's do that 3 times, okay? It can be a little tricky at first to make it smooth. If you're on a carpet or, where's the slip and slide when you need it, So you want to oil up the floor. So we're inhaling here, exhaling, shoulder blades down, squeeze the shoulder blades towards the midline, and pull yourself up into some sort of front stretch. Hold it here for a breath, and then we'll inhale and we'll reset back to the belly. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, pull the elbows in, and drag yourself forward to some sort of back bend. It could be here, it could be here, but you're using your pulling strength in your back body. Don't recruit your upper traps. Pull down between your shoulder blades. And then one last time, inhale with your arms straight. Exhale, pull your elbows into your body and draw yourself up. Pull yourself up. And exhale, let's draw ourselves back towards our heels. It's a little release for your back muscles. Good. And then we're going to sit off to one side and we'll do a twist. Okay, so you sit off to either side, your legs bent like this. If the upright twist like this is not comfortable, you can do a reclined twist, same sort of idea, a little more passive using your body weight. Okay, last couple of breaths, just wringing out that center line, and then we'll do the other side. A twist, either a seated twist with the legs scissored open, or you can do a prone twist lying on your back. Okay, last couple of breaths. And then let's all lie down on our backs and we'll do a little integration. So lying down either with your legs straight or bent, coming back to where we started our practice. Coming back home into your body, just observing your structure in contact with the floor. Begin to down-regulate your nervous system by lengthening your breath. Just let go of the effort. And just a couple minutes here to integrate any challenge that you were able to access, any edge, creativity that you were able to access in your body. That's great. And also just really taking the time to rest. Such an important part of coming home into our bodies, giving ourselves this opposition, the freedom to let go. To find stillness. So really luxuriate here in these last moments. Any tension in your jaw and your face, just let that melt. In your shoulders, in your abdomen, that soften. This rest, this deep rest here is so crucial for us to integrate the work that we do in our deliberate practice. As we become more mindful and deliberate in our movements,
we're literally laying down new neural pathways. Give us more options, more creativity, more choice in how we love to express ourselves, how to express our bodies and our spirits. The really often overlooked part of that neuroplasticity is the rest piece. So how we actually integrate and lay down those, solidify those new neural pathways that we form through deliberate movement, novel movement, different movements, is through rest, through deep rest. Final moments here, just really letting go. You might feel some energy still in your hands from the work we did today. And you can just feel that subtle connection between your hands, which in Chinese medicine are said to be the expression of our hearts, of our creative energy. So as you rest here, these last moments, open heart, expressive hands, creative hands, centered mind. Coming back into your senses now, the sounds in the room, the sound, the feeling of your breath, the air on your skin. Start with little movements, fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Maybe stretching one last time, breathing in new life and energy. And when you're ready, bend your knees or both knees, or just even one knee so you can roll to one side easily and use your hands to come back up. All right, so thank you for your practice. Move well.